Barbara Niven, Robert Ginty, Frankie Thorne, Frank Stallone, and Franco Columbu in Taken Alive. Take it from someone who knows what an action film is all about.
Hi, this is Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm Franco Columbu's buddy in pumping iron and in acting. I want to talk to you a little bit about Taken Alive. This is an action-packed movie. Action from the beginning to the end. You know, my kind of a movie. And I want you to rent it, and I want you to buy it. Rent it, buy it. Rent it, buy it. If you don't do that, I'll be back.
You know what, Arnold? I hope you do come back. I hope you come back so I can sue you for false advertising. I don't want to rent this anymore unless I want to rent this out to someone, take the money and run, and go, see ya, sucker. I don't want to buy it unless I maybe buy, I don't know, some caffeine to keep awake while watching this piece of crap. But Schwarzenegger, you need to rent it and you need to buy it. You need to rent it and to buy it. No, how about this? You need to bury it. You need to fuck it, you need to sock it, you need to dock it in the market. Fuck this movie. Taken Alive. Taking a chance. Taking a sleeping pill would be the same as this movie. This is a paid request for Rich. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos or commentaries or topics or reviews or whatever, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. This is one of those films, one of those few films with Franco Columbu in it. Now, if you don't know who that is, he was a dear friend of Arnold. They were together in Pumping Iron. Of the bodybuilders, Franco Columbu was the smaller guy. And Arnold had him in little bit roles in The Running Man, The Terminator. I think The Terminator, when Michael Biehn has a flashback to the future war, I think Franco Columbu is the Terminator that's in trying to kill all the freedom fighters, and you see just the shadow. He has this big gun. I think that's Franco Columbu. He had a big role in Conan the Barbarian. He also did this other film called Beretta's Island, which Arnold has a cameo, and the cameo is just them lifting weights. This one, Arnold's not in it, but he gave his endorsement in this one trailer. You need to rent that, you need to buy it. No. It's boring. It'd be a ripoff. So that goes to tell you he's trying to sell you some bullshit. He tried to sell you some bullshit when he was the governor of California. He tried to sell you some bullshit with Terminator Genesis and Terminator Dark Fate. Now, before all that, he tried to sell you on bullshit that this would be a good movie. So what's the problem? It's insanely boring. It's low budget. Action for beginning... Arnold literally said this is action for beginning to end. Beginning to end of what? Ain't the beginning to end of the movie. Maybe he saw a different movie. I don't know what movie he saw instead. 95? I don't know. Fucking Judge Dredd with Stallone had more action than this. I mean, that's a bigger budget movie. But Drive with Marta Costas. You want to... People like, oh, well, it's a low budget film. No. I've seen plenty of low budget films. To name a couple here. This was a low budget film. Icon One Piece, also known as Dark Angel. Love this film to death. This film tits ass. This had a low budget film. Tits ass. This film is a low budget film. This costs maybe $3 million at most. And it's filled with action. It's filled with great martial art fight sequences. And I like Rush Hour 1 and 2, but dare I say, this did that even better than Rush Hour 1 and 2. In terms of the action and humor. And I still like Rush Hour 1 and 2, but this did it even better. And it had a fraction more than... I mean, my point is, there are plenty... PM Entertainment films. Zero Tolerance with Robert Patrick. Land of the Free with Jeff Speakman, where he fights off against William Shatner. Last Man Standing, well, both the Bruce Willis and the Jeff Wincott one. Jeff Wincott's one was with PM Entertainment. That was a direct-to-video line of movies that had more than this. This one, Robert Ginty from The Exterminator 1 and 2, he plays a senator. If you think Robert Ginty's going to have any action or going to any part of Exterminator action, no. Right, I didn't think that to begin with, but I'm just saying that in case there are other people say, oh, Robert Ginty. Yeah, he talks for a few times, and by the end of the film, he becomes president. At this point, he's a senator. He's in Sardinia for vacation. Why Sardinia? Because that's where Franco Colombo is from. And he loves Sardinia, wants to shoot in Sardinia. And this was a vehicle for him. Now, to Franco Colombo, I know he passed away in 2019. I'm sorry that was the case. I really am. But I'm not going to sit here and say he was good. He wasn't a good actor. He was not a good action star. His accent was so thick, I could barely understand what he was saying. There's a reason why he did not get the star in a lot of movies. Now, maybe you could blame that also on the direction, the lack of funds, but even then, this had a lack of funds and it pulled off very well, as do many other, again, PM Entertainment, looked that company up. Not every one of them is a winner, but there's a lot of winners in there. Gary Daniels had some like Riot and Rage, and there's one called Steel Frontier, there's one called, there's quite a few. Like, straightforward, you want to see action, you want to see a lot of kick-ass, beat-em-up, shootouts. Sometimes that's what you want for escapism fun. Might not be the deepest of plots, might not be the smartest of scripts, but sometimes you just want escapism entertainment. This is boredom. Robert Ginty, like he's a senator, he has his mistress with him, and the ridiculousness, which is the only thing that stands out, Robert Ginty is on a recliner by a pool. He's like on his back, I guess he's got his eyes closed, his mistress sits down on the recliner next to him. On the recliner, apparently there is a parachute, which the mistress gets and goes up in the air, and the bad guys fly away with this lady and a parachute from the recliner on the ground, and Robert Ginty sees none of this, and he's literally this far away from her. I went, what the fuck did I just see? And then she's taking the Frank Stallone, Sylvester Stallone's brother, Yo Frankie. And Frank Stallone wasn't bad. But what's funny, he's not even the bad guy in this. Like, you think he'll be the bad guy, and he kidnapped this girl, but then he starts doing nice things with the girl starts liking him, and then she's no longer a kidnapped victim because they fall in love, and then Frank Stallone's not even a bad guy. Like, the kidnappers are not even the actual bad guys in the fucking movie. That's what's weird about this plot. And then he gives her a dress. He's being nice to her. Meanwhile, Robert Ginty, he doesn't want so many people to know about this. So he gets in touch with William Smith, who played Arnold's dad, Conan's dad, in Conan the Barbarian. He calls for a female agent to go to Sardinia. And this female agent... Of course, as I say it, I burped. I don't know why I burped. Or at least my chest had palpitations. Because this lady is a shitty agent. She gets there. She doesn't know who the contact really is. Gets this little piece of paper. Mistaken identity. She thinks Franco Colombo is an agent. He's not. He's just a sculptor. Again, half the time when Franco talks, I can't understand what the fuck he's saying. You need subtitles for Franco Colombo. What? What? I think he's speaking the English. There's a fucking bar fight where Franco Colombo, the best that he does, he pushes a guy You know the foosball? The table with the little football players, and you do the and they go like this, and you move the ball up there or down there. He puts the guy's face in, and he does this, and the guy's nose with the that's the. And then the bad guys, I don't know what they're doing with the female agent, but they put her down, they put a blanket on her, and they start stacking chairs on her. This is like something that, I don't know, asshole kindergartners would do. Hey, little boy, you know, I'm going to stack the chair on her. Ah. Like, this female agent is being tapped by people who are stacking chairs on her. They're fucking stacking chairs on her. So, and she's like, ah! I'm like, lady, they're not punching you in the gooch. They're not flipping your tits or pinching them. They're stacking chairs on you, lady. I'm like, is this going to be the first death by chair stacking? No. I guess Franco scares them off, and he gets it off of her. And then they just wander around. They go to a cave. She checks her makeup. Oh, we gotta stay in the cave? Oh, what are we going to eat? Oh, Franco Columbo has an egg. Eats the He eats the yolk. They eats the shell of the egg. And she's like, ew. I'm like, what kind of agent is this? Bimbos Are Us? This is like such a shitty agent. And finally, at one point they get attacked, and she's like, cover me. So Franco Columbo gets a blanket and covers her shoulders. And she's like, what are you doing? I don't have a gun. I understood that line. And then she said, you lied to me. I'm like, no, you were the idiot that didn't know what the fuck. If you said, you know, hey, are you an agent for the government? No, I am a sculptor. He could have told you that. The very few fight scenes in this is the action that's the beginning to end action, as Arnold Schwarzenegger says. Girl kidnapped by parachute from a fucking recliner, which Robert Dente doesn't notice. Nothing until that little bar fight I mentioned. Nothing until she gets shot at and then realizes this guy doesn't have a gun. Franco decides to go home on a little motorcycle. He's chased to his place where the bad guys fucked with his sculptures. And either Franco Columbo cannot do a fight scene, or they did not know how to choreography was non-existent in this. Like, he picks up a guy, lifts him like 2 feet, and just like dumps him. It's like, imagine this. It's like, and he can't really punch someone. Later on, he like grabs 2 people on a headlock. It's kind of like me doing this. This is like me doing like this. Like if I have these, and I'm like, bam, 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 bam. That's all he does. This is like a shitty, like the shitty, one of the shittiest action heroes of the 90s. I'm sorry to Franco Columbo, may he rest in peace. But this film didn't do him any favors, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Frank Stallone in their lair is like this pillar. It's like a cave, but it's a pillar. And sometimes I hear like this Irish music. I don't know if it's Irish. I don't know what kind of music it is. I don't know why I think of Irish. The film agent, I forgot how she found this place. There's like a bad guy looking over here. Oh, okay, look over here. She gets up between the guy's legs and lifts. And the guy's like, oh, pfft. As soon as he falls, he's knocked out. Because that's what happens. If a woman lifts you slowly and you fall, you get instantly knocked out. You know, that happens to the best of us, I guess. And again, that's where Franco comes in. He puts like dirt on these two guys' head, and then he does that headlock on both, and like boom, boom, and he throws one, and you hear someone go, "Ah!" That's totally ADR into it. And Frank Stallone is not that bad of a guy. I hate to say it, he's the best actor in the movie. Because Robert Ginty phoned it in. Frank Stallone, I mean, he's not really given much to do, but he's alright. I guess the bad guy is the actual agent, not Franco Columbo, who the femme agent mistook from, but the real agent that the femme agent was supposed to beat. He starts shooting some of the kidnappers, shoots at the female agent, shoots at Franco Columbo because they want the tape that Robert Ginty and the mistress made. So it's like, wait, now I guess this guy is the bad guy? And then gets in a helicopter, and some old guy shoots the tail rotor of the chopper and it hits a cliff and boom. And Franco Columbo, all he does is, a grenade was dropped by the helicopter, the guy in the helicopter. Franco Columbo gets a stone, gets on top of it, and then he's perfectly fine. Because when you put stone on a grenade, you're perfectly fine. You know, that happens. I mean, again, try it. Anyone out there, try it. That's one for Mythbusters. And then for the end, Frank Stallone and the kidnapped girl are together. I don't know where they're at. I guess they're back in the States. I guess they got money. They got the money and they're living their life. Robert Ginty's president, and he got no comeuppance. Because I'm like, if he hired the agent tried to kill, is he the bad guy, Robert Ginty? But I guess not really, but he's president, so he's okay. And then Franco Columbo and the female agent, who, with barely any chemistry, now loves Franco Columbo. And it's supposed to be this, you know, tough agent, but succumbs to Franco's charms like a slut in heat. And that's taken alive. I choose death. It's hard to talk about this film because what am I doing? What am I doing with this review? What am I going to describe? Franco Columbo, I'm sorry, he does not have the presence. He doesn't have the... Because Arnold Schwarzenegger had presence. He would say lines, especially when he got better at it, and he had a sense of humor. Even in Predator, stick around. And even when you look at Arnold, when he's bad at Carl Weathers, not bad acting. It's bullshit, don't live it. The cabinet, the ministers, you gotta do your dirty work. But men are not spendable. Well, Arnold did good in that, in my opinion. He did a good job. And then Franco was just, his facial expression never changed. It was always the same expression from beginning to end. And it showed that despite what people want to say, Arnold, when he worked at it, got to be a better actor because his face did change expression. You know, warmer eyes in comedies or angry. He knew how to express himself. And he was not that bad of an actor. He was just an actor with an accent. That doesn't mean a bad actor. Franco Columbo, sadly, was a bad actor. And the action scenes, again, whether it's whoever choreographed it, it was the director or Franco himself, there's barely any action. There's barely any action scenes. And there's barely any fight scenes. And the few there are, the most notable stuff is a guy whose head nose is in a foosball table. And the little motherfuckers flipping on the guy's face and nose. When that's the highlight of your movie? And then the theme for the trailer is some old guy, not Frank Stallone, not Fredo Colombo, not the female agent. Let her do it. Just have, that old guy shoots the tail rotor or blows up the helicopter to put that in all the trailers. So I don't know what else to say about it. Taken alive, take a dump, take a fucking dump in the ditch. I don't know, man. In this world where there's so many, you could almost say a gluttony of action movies. Oh, it's a low budget. No, bullshit, my dick. There are plenty of low budget action films that work very well. I named a couple. I can name more. Pick a decade. PM Entertainment, early 90s. Direct-to-video films in the 80s. Even something as funny as Straight Commando Red Brown has more notable, fun stuff in that than this movie. Again, go watch Zero Tolerance with Robert Patrick. Go watch, Jeff Speakman's The Perfect Weapon, Deadly Outbreak. Go watch Deadly Outbreak with Jeff Speakman. Go watch that film, also known as Deadly Takeover. The list goes on. So with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Arnold, if you come back, I will sue you for false advertising. So, be my guest, Arnold. Arnold Braunschweiger.